Applejack Plays Minecraft by Atheos. It was a rather cloudy day in Ponyville. Well, Pegasi had scheduled a storm for the evening, and pretty much every pony decided to stay at home for the day. The streets were all empty, except for a certain cowmare who was trying towards the Book and Branches library, whistling and with a puzzled look on her face. The librarian, her dear friend, had summoned her to show her something, as she said. Eventually she reached her target, and without thinking much about etiquette, she bucked the door open.
Hey, Twy, I'm here.
Yellow-maned Pony yelled, just to hear some pony groaning behind the door. She had unintentionally slammed it on poor librarian's assistant's face.
Twilight's upstairs, AJ.
The little dragon groaned, pulling himself off the door and shutting it. Applejack apologized with a chuckle, and headed to the stairs on the other side of the room. Twilight was there, trying to pull off a proud pose. Right behind her, a new desk, and on top of it, something Applejack recognized as a computer.
Do you like it?
The librarian asked with a proud smile on her face.
It's a Hey 7. Finest piece of technology in town.
She continued.
8 gigabytes of RAM, Weth Hay 7 processor, and 3.6 gigahaze, magic-induced cooling. Too hard to... Whoa! Slow down, Sugar Cube.
Applejack interrupted.
You know I'm not into techno-whatever stuff. Speak my tongue.
She said, smiling. Twilight groaned, kind of disappointed for not being able to properly express the almighty power of her new machine.
It's a real powerful computer which can run a lot of stuff.
She explained, rolling her eyes. It was actually a cool piece of technology. The case was kind of big, blue with a shocking pink stripe in the middle. The monitor was really big too, about 10 hooves, maybe a bit more. The wallpaper that Applejack guessed was a galaxy. Over it some icons like Twilight, library, letters, and one that looked like a cube of dirt with grass upon it labeled Ponecraft. Anyways, regardless about how cool could that thing be, computers weren't actually a thing Applejack was interested into. She tried to express that without hurting Twilight's feelings.
Sugar, it's cool and everything.
She started.
But as I said, computers aren't really my thing. I'm more into booking and...
Twilight exploded into a laugh.
we can buck if you want to.
She teased, continuing to laugh, causing Applejack to blush furiously.
What? No. Wait, that's not what I meant.
She excused. When Twilight had finally recovered, she explained that she had invited her by to make her try a game with her new computer, since with the upcoming storm AJ wasn't going to buck. Here Twilight chuckled hysterically. Much anyway. Giving AJ a seat, she ran a game called Ponecraft. They then went on single player and created a new world, which took Applejack a good 5 minutes to name as Sweet Apple Acres. She wasn't the fastest computer typer around, that's for sure, much to Twilight's boredom. Finally, the game started, and a world made of blocks came into view.
Now that's what I call high definition.
Ironized AJ, causing Twilight to snort and babble something about graphics not being the game's point.
Well, whatever. Why the dude there has the same color as a dash?
Applejack asked, starting to move around.
That's not important.
Twilight exclaimed, rapidly pressing his F5 twice and hiding her blushing.
Here, play first person. It's better. Now go buck.
And she chuckled again.
Some trees for wood.
Applejack shut her "Are you kidding?" look before walking to the closest tree and pressing on a block in the middle of the trunk. After a few seconds, the block broke, leaving the rest of the tree floating mid-air and Applejack with a dumb look on her face.
Wow. Now, if trees work that way, I'd have to find myself another job.
She commented, blinking twice, and resuming her lumber gathering work.
So, is this game about bucking down trees, or do I have to do something else?
Applejack asked, as her wood block's counter was reaching 40.
Well, of course not. It's a survival game. Gather resources, craft stuff, get powerful weapons and armor, build a house.
Twilight explained.
I think I got it. But how do I now craft recipes and stuff?
Asked the cowmare.
Well, I have a mod for that. Press E, then O, and you'll turn on not enough hate items. Now hover over an item and press R, and it will tell you the recipe.
Twilight explained, as Applejack followed her step by step.
All right, anything else, Sugar Cube?
AJ asked, not noticing the librarian blushing at the sugar cube.
What's wrong with me today?
Twilight thought, explaining the tool system to the cowmare. Wood tools sucked big time, stone ones were meh, iron was good, gold tools were weak but fast, and diamond was the best. She then left the cowmare by herself and went downstairs to check on Spike. Later,
Whoa!
Applejack thought.
Time sure flies when you're having fun.
She leaned back on the chair and looked at the monitor, chuckling a bit when a notification stating, "Vapor, Luna is playing Moonbreakers," on the bottom left of the desktop. She had been playing for over an hour now, carefully hiding in holes on the ground during the night and harvesting as much resources as she could during the day. She had met a few spider enemies and some black, tall ones, which reminded her of the slender pony, a scare she used to tell Applebloom when she didn't want to go to bed. By now, she had a pretty full inventory, about 100 blocks of raw iron, an iron pickaxe, iron sword, some gold, and a good amount of lumber, coal, and stone. She was unsure if she could build a house and deposit her riches now, or wait another night and gather something more. After some thinking, she picked the latter. After all, those spiders were weak, and with her rocking iron four-hooves plate and luxury mode golden helmet, what could go wrong? She stretched her hooves and leaned back in place, carefully digging outside her hiding place for the night. She found the early lights of dawn welcoming her. Ignoring the gruesome show of black tall ponies and skeleton ponies burning to ashes, she set off for the closest cave, carefully placing torches during her descent. Finally, she met a dead end. Unsure about what to do, unbeknownst to her, she broke the first rule of the game. She dug down. Fortunately, it all ended all too well, as she broke the roof of something which looked like a mine, landing close to an object which looked like a chest. Out of curiosity, she opened it, to find inside some gold, an iron pickaxe, some pumpkin seeds, and a couple of diamonds.
Twi! I found diamonds!
She shouted with an excited tone.
Great! Keep it up!
Was the response from the librarian, who was probably busy reading something to properly assimilate the info. Eventually, AJ decided to celebrate the event-breaking random blocks around her. Turns out she broke one which held up a gravel structure, so all of the gravity-aware block fell down, revealing a cave behind. Inside it, not one, not two, but 3 deposits of diamonds. With a smile widening on her face, she collected the precious booty and decided it was enough for now.
I reckon I should head back on to the surface and build a safe place to deposit them babies.
She thought. Following the mine, she eventually came to a cave which headed up. She started climbing up when something caught her attention.
Well, hi there, little guy.
She thought, looking at a green thing that looked up to her from a hole in the ground he was trapped in. She picked her sword, but didn't strike. The dude didn't seem quite as evil as the other three monsters she had met until now, and seeing him looking up at her with puppy eyes from a bloody hole stimulated a bit her pity. Finally, she resolved to ask Twilight.
Hey, Twi,
She shouted.
there's some asparagus dude looking up at me from a hole. What do I do? Is him evil or something?
She asked.
No!
The librarian shouted back. Applejack could bet she heard her chuckling.
It's a hay hugger. He just wants to hug. Hug him and there's a slight chance he drops diamonds. Otherwise, he drops hay.
Twilight explained, trying to hide her chuckling. Applejack looked back at the screen. Living Asparagus was still looking at her with pleading eyes.
Twilight, there's a little something funny about this hugger stuff. You sure you're right?
Applejack asked, with a hint of suspicion.
Yeah, 100% sure. It's fine, really.
She answered. Applejack looked straight in the dude's eyes. It didn't actually look harmful. She decided to trust her friend and jumped in the hole with him.
Twi, if he glows, does that mean I'm getting him diamond?
Boom! Applejack looked dumbly at the respawn button, then blinked. Then blinked again.
Twilight!
The end.